Welcome to 24 Hour Sports. You are now here with Daryl Green. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And today we're doing an NFL Week 15 picks and predictions. Check the spread, or should we call it? And I'm just going to be looking at the spread, checking the injury report, giving out my picks and my predictions for NFL Week 15. And we just going to pick it. We're going to predict it. We're going to check the spread. Let's get into it. The first game that we have is the Colts and the Vikings. The Vikings are 3.5 betting favorites, and I see them covering. I just don't believe that the Colts have enough firepower. The offense has not been the same because Jonathan Taylor, he hasn't popped. He hasn't popped like we seen last season. He's not regarded as one of the best backs who's having a great season this year. That team is just struggling. And I think Shaquille Leonard being out for the season really took a hit because he's a leader in that locker room. He's a defensive player, and not having him is a lot. Also, looking at the injury report, we got guys like Kenny Moore out, and that's an important guy in that back end in that secondary. For the Vikings, Harrison Smith was a guy who was a little limited this week, and Danielle Hunter is also a guy who was a bit limited this week, but I still think that they have enough. They have what it takes to beat that Colts team, and I have them winning that game. Going into the next one, we got the Ravens versus the Browns. I think this is an interesting one. I'm not going to say it has playoff implications because I think the Steelers and the Browns are out as far as playoffs in that division, but I think it's an interesting game because the Ravens, these stretch of games are important. Lamar Jackson is out. And the Bengals are winning games. The Bengals look dangerous. They're winning games. If you want to keep a good seed, get a favorable matchup in the playoffs, try your luck when Lamar gets healthy, you need to win these games. These are must-win, must-have games. Deshaun Watson he hasn't gotten back into that rhythm just yet. And right now, currently, the Browns are three-point betting favorites. So that's basically a pick-em game. And the team I would go with the Browns in this game. I would go with the Browns in this game because I think it's just favorable. It's favorable. How is that Ravens offense going to look? The Ravens are good at stopping the run, but Nick Chubb, it's like Nick Chubb just wake up, get out of bed, I got 100 yards. I don't even got to touch the practice facility. I don't got to touch the field. I wake up, get out of bed, and I got 100 yards already. So that's what I see with Nick Chubb. And the Browns are the home team. The Browns are the home team in this game. Looking towards the injury report, Denzel Ward, it's not too much on the injury report for this team. For the Ravens, now, Tyler Huntley. This is an interesting discussion because he's been limited a little bit this week with a concussion. Calais Campbell, he got a rest day. I don't think it's too much going out of this game, but I have the Browns winning this game. That's where I stand on that game. Going into the next game, we got the Dolphins versus the Bills. And I don't understand this one now. I don't understand. The spread has stayed the same throughout the entire week, but the Bills are 7-point favorites in this game. And I don't see the Bills covering that. They lost their last matchup against Miami, and it was a tough game. Josh Allen made some questionable throws in the fourth quarter. Inaccurate on some throws in the fourth quarter. And that offense just hasn't been the same. I don't know what it's been. Ever since, I think the Jets game. I would say the Jets game. Since that game, it's just been bad. It's been bad as far as what we're expecting out of the Buffalo Bills. And I don't think that the Dolphins are just going to get blown out. They're just going to come in here and lay down and lose the game. This is still a good team. People are doubting Tua, Tyreek Hill, that offense. They're going to come to play. This game is important as far as playoff implications for both teams. So we're going to see a good game. Let me look at the injury report. I know Teron Armstead is a guy who has missed time, but he began to practice this week. Jeff Wilson, another guy who began to practice this week. I think those guys are going to play. I don't think they have any questionable injuries, any major injuries. Matt Milano, that's an important guy for the Buffalo Bills defense. If you get a backup in there, I already spoke to how the Dolphins like to predicate their offense across the middle. If those linebackers don't know what they're doing, they're not getting the depth, they're biting for the eye candy, it's going to be a long, long day in Buffalo. And let me see where this game is located. Yeah, the Bills are home, so the weather can also play a part in this game too. But I don't see it being a blowout. I don't see that. That's definitely something I don't see. Ed Oliver was limited, but like I said, Matt Milano is the only guy I want to see how his health looks on Sunday. But other than that, I don't see the Bills covering this spread. I have the Bills winning this game, but I believe it'll be a closer game than what the bettors are anticipating. Going to the Falcons versus Saints, the Saints are 4-point betting favorites. I like this. I like this. I don't have too much to say about this. I'm interested to see how Desmond Ritter looks in big time action. You playing a tough defense, and I like Desmond Ritter. I like Desmond Ritter coming out of college, but my only question was accuracy. Accuracy. You made big plays, but sometimes when we needed a 3rd and 10, we needed a 3rd and 7. Inaccurate in the worst moments. So I want to see. I know he's worked with coaches. I know he's worked as he's progressed, gotten up to this NFL level. So I'm interested to see how he looks in that action on Sunday. So that's something I'm gonna be focused on. Not too much major injuries. The Saints have a couple guys battling injuries. They held out some guys from practice, guys like Mark Ingram, Zach Bond, Cameron Jordan. But I expect a good bit of these guys to play. Also, they might not play at the same time because it's the Falcons. It's the Falcons. The Falcons are not a good football team. That's just simply put. But at the same time, the Saints don't have anything to lose. They don't have anything to lose. They don't have too much to play for except for pride. So that's where I stand on that. I see the Saints winning this game handily. It's going to be hard for a rookie to come in and beat the Saints. I see them covering the spread. Cowboys versus Jags. This is one of my games of the week. And the Cowboys are 4-point betting favorites. I don't know how I feel about this one. I don't know because the Cowboys are one of the most controversial teams in the NFL. One week they come out, blow out the Vikings. One week they come out and play just like they're on the same level with the Texans. So what can I really expect? What version of Dallas can I expect in this game? I don't know. I honestly can't tell you the truth. I'm going to take them to cover that 4-point spread, but it opened up at 6. So that's what I'm looking at. Now it's down to 4. I see them covering 4 points. They might win this game by a touchdown. But Jacksonville is a team who's getting it together. Like I said, I want to see Trevor Lawrence take that next step. He's been taking it. He's been taking the next step and some more in these past few games. So that's where I sit with that one. Let me check the injury report real quick. Yeah, nothing too serious for Dallas. Nothing too serious for either team. So I like that. I like them to cover that spread. I like that pick. Going to the Lions versus the Jets. This is the game that I'm going to be watching. This is the game that I got my eyes on because it's major. Playoff implications. Like I said, I'm worried about the games that have playoff implications. If a team wins here, we can sneak in there. And a lot of other teams in the division, we think about the Giants, the Seahawks, they watching this game as well because the Lions are trying to sneak in the playoffs, and the Jets, you see teams like the Chargers. The Chargers are trying to sneak in the playoffs. If the Jets continue to lose, that's a possibility we can see. So right now, it's really a pick'em game. And it's a pick'em game for me too as well because both teams are solid. Let me look at this injury report real quick because one thing I saw something about Mike White not playing. I saw something about Zach Wilson, and that scared me. When I seen Zach Wilson. That's what scared me. So yeah, so Mike White battling a rib injury. I don't know. I don't know where he stands. I'm pretty sure more information is going to come out, but I think there is probably a 40 to 50% chance we might see Zach Wilson in this game. That's not good. That's not good. Like I said, Lions top 5 offense, defense playing better. They're 1.5-point favorites. I see them covering. The Jets defense is tremendous, but with that offense, are you going to be able to produce enough to keep up? Are you going to be able to do that? So that's what I want to see. I have the Lions winning this one, and I see them covering. Going to the Chiefs versus the Texans. I don't care if Patrick Mahomes was out. It's not much Okay, that's a bit far. I do care if Patrick Mahomes was out, but it's not much. It's not much that could result in the Chiefs actually losing this game. It's just not. That's the truth of it. We all know that. They're 14-point favorites. I see them covering. There's no need to even sit there and break that one down. Now, the Steelers versus the Panthers. Panthers are 3-point favorites. Honestly, I'm a Steelers fan, but I see the Panthers covering with these 3 points. Kenny Pickett battling that concussion. I wouldn't put him out there. And that's just where I stand on that. I wouldn't put him out there. We got Najee. Najee's been fighting injuries basically the whole season. So that's where you stand with that. Miles Jack didn't participate in a practice this week. And the Panthers are fairly healthy. I see them covering, winning that game. I see the Panthers winning that game. Going to the Eagles versus the Bears. This is an easy one for me, honestly. This is an easy one for me. Eagles versus Bears. This is an easy one because no. No, that's all I gotta say. No, Chicago, no. No, the Eagles are focused. They're showing me a real focus, a real determination. They want to prove everybody wrong. They don't care about what people are saying, but they know. They know how everybody felt about Philly. They know how everybody felt when they said they were frauds. And that's in their mind. So yeah, they're going to dominate. I see them dominating this game. The game is located in Chicago. Maybe some weather things, but it gets cold in Philly too. So it's nothing that can shake them, nothing that can knock them off. The injury report, let me check it just to be sure. But like I said, I see the Eagles covering that game. I see them winning that by 2 to 3 scores, actually. Cardinals versus Broncos. I'm going to just be honest. Broncos should handily win this game. They're 3-point favorites. I see them covering. Kyler Murray is out. He's out for the season. So that's what that is. That's just what that is. And we've already seen their backup. We've already seen them. I didn't like what I saw out of them. So that's just where I stand. I see them. Yeah. Yeah. Going into the next game, we got the Patriots versus the Raiders. I'm out on the Raiders. I'm just out on the Raiders. They're talented, but I'm out. I'm out on the Patriots as well. This is a game. This is one of those games. Who's watching this game? Who's watching this game? Seriously, I don't even know because no, it's not a. Um, let's look at the injury report. The Raiders are 1-point betting favorites. That's basically a pick 'em game. If I had to go with a team, honestly, I go with the Raiders because they got a high ceiling, low floor. I go with the Raiders. I'm not confident in either team, but I would go with the Raiders. Checking the injury report just to make sure everything's okay. Yeah. Yeah. Devontae Parker, a big time weapon. Jack Jones, big time DB. Dang. Okay, yeah. Looking at this injury report, it's giving me more confirmation that I feel solid about this. I see Darren Waller and Hunter Renfrow return from injury reserve. I don't know if they'll play. It'll be good if they do, but I got the Raiders winning this one. Chargers versus Titans. One of those must-watch games. Dang. The big hit with this game is Traylon Burks. We seen the concussion. We all seen that play. He's still fighting that. And they're fighting a couple injuries, actually. They're fighting a couple injuries. The Chargers are fairly, we know JC Jackson's out for the season. But other than that, I would say they're fairly healthy. Derwin James battling a quad, but I think he'll play. I think these guys must play because, like I said, they could sneak into the playoffs. What's the line for this game? 3-point favorites. Titans are a tough team. They are, but I gotta go with the Chargers to cover by 3 points. I go with that. Bengals versus Bucks. This is an interesting game for a lot of reasons because I think what do I think about this game? Let me look at the injury report because I know T. Higgins, Hayden Hurst is not even practicing. He seems doubtful. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's looking rough for Cincinnati. T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Trey Hendrickson might not even play. Looking at where they're at in that conference, I feel like they could sit a couple of those impact guys out and still get a win. Tristan Wirfs, Vita Vea, guys. Yeah. Antoine Whitfield battling an ankle. I just don't think the Buccaneers are a good team. That's where I stand on that. The Bengals are 3.5-point betting favorites. And I like the Bengals to cover. I like the Bengals to cover that game. There's not too much. If T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd and Hayden Hurst, if those guys play, it'll be exceptional. But if they don't, I don't think the Buccaneers can score. I don't. And the Bengals defense has looked better. I spoke about Logan Wilson. I spoke about DJ Reader. I spoke about those guys in recent videos. So I think that's a good team. I see them covering that. The Giants versus the Commanders. This is a solid game. These guys tied their last time they played. Wow. But I see the Commanders are 4.5-point betting favorites. Let me look at the injury report before I say anything about this game. Okay, so it's looking like Saquon Barkley is back healthy. I see a Dory Jackson battling a knee, but I think he'll play. Looking for I think both teams will be fairly healthy. We got a couple guys limited, but I think both teams will be fairly healthy. And I see the Commanders winning this game. I don't have them covering the spread. I don't have them winning by 4.5 points, but I see them winning this game. I see this being a close, tight ball game. And that's where I stand on that. They're not going to cover, but I see them winning that game. Rams versus Packers. One of those games. Who's watching? Who? Rams versus Packers, man. You know, last year you told me about this game. I think it'll be major playoff implications. But right now, it's not. It's not major playoff implications. Both teams, honestly, I would make this a Jordan Love game, just to speak to that. I would make this a Jordan Love game. Get them in the game. I don't see them covering. I don't see the Packers covering 7 points, but I see the Packers winning this game. The Rams are not a good football team. They aren't. Baker Mayfield, he did some magic in the fourth quarter, but how is that going to stand up? I'm interested to see how Baker Mayfield looks. I want to see Baker Mayfield versus Jordan Love. That's what I want to see in this game. I think it'll be a close game, not a high-scoring game, but I have the Packers winning that game. And yeah, I think that about wraps it up for this week. Yeah, that about wraps it up for the games this week. Like I said, it's some interesting games. We got some good games. We got some games that people are not really going to be tuning into, not really going to be watching. But how do you feel about this? How do you feel about these picks? How do you feel about these spreads? If you want to see more videos like this in the future, in coming weeks, just let me know. And one thing I want to announce before I exit this video, next week, we ramping it up. We coming with the NBA. We coming. NBA fans, stay tuned. Hit the subscribe button. We coming with all the NBA talent. I'm catching up. I'm doing a lot of research, just seeing where every team's at, seeing what's going on. If I had to pick my favorite team right now, I like Boston. I've watched Boston play. I think their defense is exceptional. I have still some questions about that point guard position, but I like that team. Thank you for watching today's episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We out.